The Hill has some bad news here for Hillary Clinton. They say Republican operatives are scouring the country for transcripts, notes, or secret recordings of Hillary Clinton's paid speeches to Goldman Sachs in hopes of finding damaging material for the general election. Oh boy. They continue here. Republican opposition researchers have taken matters into their own hands, aggressively seeking any information about the speeches, including from Goldman employees who were in the room. A GOP operative said the following, quote, "Finding and releasing the transcripts would be a heck of a way to outflank Hillary on her left in a general election and stop Bernie supporters from voting for her. Just mail the Goldman Sachs transcripts to every Bernie supporter. There's your targeted mail program right there. I won't say it won't come out at some point. It's like a bomb that's going to go off in the general election." Okay, guys, make no mistake about it. If indeed these transcripts do leak, and it looks like they may indeed leak, that would be the equivalent of Mitt Romney's 47% video. You remember that? Where Romney, in a private event, was caught on camera saying that 47% of the country, they're lazy moochers, and they're never going to take their responsibility for themselves, so you write them off. We don't need to represent them. We need to try to get the votes of the other people. Yeah. And then, the people call into that, and they were like, oh, this is a bad person. This is somebody who literally does not give a fuck about half the country. And obviously, in his mind, is the Democratic half of the country. I mean, he's also just massively ignorant and wrong because the people who net receive more federal tax money are in red states. The blue states are actually bigger net taxpayers. So your idea of the lazy Democratic moochers and parasites, you flipped it on its head. That's not true. And by the way, many of the people who net receive tax money, they're disabled, they're senior citizens, they're veterans. So you're disrespecting these people? No, but that's the thing. He's so out of touch. He's so super rich. And all it is, I love the rich. I want to protect the rich. I only want to represent the elites. And that is exactly the kind of stuff that's on those tapes from Goldman Sachs. Okay, we've had some leaks from some people who were at the event at the time when they spoke to the media afterwards. And the thing that they said was, oh, her main line of argument was, all of this banker bashing, it's nothing but scapegoating, and it's so wrong, and it's so inaccurate, and it's so stupid for people to dislike Goldman Sachs and to dislike the bankers and to be angry at Wall Street. It's not your guy's fault. You're the victim. You're the victim. You're telling me if that leaks in a general election, that is not going to suppress the Democratic-based vote for Hillary? I got news for you. They're already kind of suppressed, and they're already downtrodden. I see it myself. You know who mostly makes up the SecularTalk audience? The Democratic base. This is the pulse of the Democratic base in our audience. And they're like, fuck her. If you release those transcripts and get the actual words coming from her mouth, as is likely, well, then it's like, oh, game, set, match. Forget it. Forget it. It's writing in Bernie in the general, or voting for Jill Stein, or not voting at all, or some people, like we said in the last segment, they are just going to go and vote for Trump, and they're going to say, I'm doing it because I want to burn this motherfucker down. Fuck this system. This is the liberal Democrat in the general election, is somebody who just kneels at the feet of people on Wall Street and says, oh, I love you, I worship you, let me kiss your feet. Horrendous. It's horrendous. So this is the person you want to represent the Democrats? Guys, I said it before, I'll say it again. You have now set up a general election where the Republican the Republican candidate is going to portray himself as more anti-establishment than the Democratic candidate. And also, there's a good argument that the Republican candidate is going to portray himself as to the left of Hillary on foreign policy and war. The Democratic base is not going to want to vote for somebody who's rah-rahing war and intervention and who's more pro-establishment and defends Wall Street more. She just fucking called Bush donors when she should be reaching out to Bernie supporters to try to get them to come over to her. What's she doing? Snubbing them and literally calling Bush donors and saying, I represent your values more than Donald Trump does. This is a recipe for disaster. She has arrogance oozing from every pore of her body. Where are they going to go? Where are the Bernie supporters going to go? They're going to vote for me anyway. Fuck them. Now let's call some Wall Street donors, some Bush Wall Street donors. When these transcripts leak, if these transcripts leak, and I'd put that at 50-50 right now. It's 50-50. It's a coin flip. It would be an absolute disaster for the Democrats, and Donald Trump would go immediately to being the favorite in this election. As of right now, I'm already more cautious than other people on the Democratic side. I think it's already a 50-50 election. You flipped a coin. Hillary's only up 6 points on average, and they haven't even really started going after each other yet, and I think Trump will improve when that happens. I already think it's 50-50. But if these transcripts leak, Trump becomes the favorite, like that. So go ahead. Be happy about your Hillary Clinton candidate. Or Bernie Sanders is still in the race. You could still go out there and vote for him in huge numbers and get him within striking distance. And if there happens to be an indictment or something of the sort, you know, maybe there's a Hail Mary shot, he flips some superdelegates and he gets the nomination. And guess what the numbers are with Bernie Sanders versus Trump? Bernie is up on average 13 percentage points in a general election race against Trump. Because you take away all of Trump's advantages. How he says now, oh, I'm to the left on foreign policy. Oh, I'm anti-establishment. Here's who you're not to the left of on anything. Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is to the left of you on foreign policy, and he is certainly more anti-establishment than you, so all your arguments, down the drain, bitch. So Bernie Sanders is the solution. Hillary Clinton is the problem.